Hey guys, what's up? It's Harley and I'm here today to do my January wrap-up. Sorry if that was awkward. I don't know what I'm doing. Excuse the lights, everything. So I read all these suckers plus an audiobook, so we will get right into it. But first, let me go over my little deck of TBR. I chose 5 prompts, 5 cards, whatever, and I had 5 books I had to read with them. And I'm proud of myself. I accomplished it for the most part. You'll find out later. But I actually did it. I'm proud of myself. I read the other books that were not part of the TBR, that were on my TBR, except for one. That's pretty good. I'm proud. So let's just get into it. Off the top of my head, I'm going to try to remember what I rated all these books. So if it's wrong, I'll like put it somewhere on the screen, you know. But this was the first book that I finished this month, and look, it's like shiny and reflective. Yes. Anyways, it is House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. This is the first book in the Crescent City series, and I read this with my friend Laura, and the sucker is ginormous. Okay, what is it? Like 800 something pages? 806? No, just 800. It's like 800 pages. My puppy is being cute on the bed. She'll probably be making noise eventually. There she goes. This is a ginormous freaking book, and I probably could not have gotten through it without Laura pushing me to read. She was like, she kept messaging me, being like, have you gotten here yet? Have you gotten here yet? And I'm like, no! But I felt like I had to keep reading so I could talk with her about it. Otherwise, I probably would have put this book off forever and not read it, and I did enjoy it. Bryce is a pretty badass main character. She took a little warming up. Everyone took like forever for me to warm up to them. I didn't know how I felt about them until like the very end. The very end happened and I was just like, love you guys, okay? But this was a pretty good fantasy. Is it an urban fantasy? Why are you being so cute? If only you could see her. She's being adorable. Hi. I get confused through all the different like fantasies. This like wasn't my favorite fantasy world. I think I much prefer like the more medieval kind of fantasies, like I don't know what I call true fantasy, but the whole like it being a fantasy world in a modern setting kind of threw me off and took me a while to like get into, and then the like shifters threw me off too because there were so many different shifters and I wasn't sure if they like shifted completely into an animal form or they could just shift part of themselves or at will. I don't know. It was a lot. Like I said, it's a big book. It takes you a while to like start understanding everything, but I did enjoy it in the end, and the last quarter of this book was. But I ended up giving Crescent City a 4 stars. I'm still considering bumping it up to like 4.25, 4.5. My feelings still aren't set in stone on the series. The next book that I finished in January was Banished by Betsy Shaw. This is the 3rd book in the Storymaker series, and I buddy read this with my friend Victoria. We buddy read the entire series. I think we did November, December, January. We might have done October. One of these books I think ended up being like 2 months. We follow Dot, who is one of the descendants of someone in the Wizard of Oz. She's the Emerald Princess. She's from the Emerald City, and then we also follow Rexy, who was a servant in the Emerald City. Dot makes a wish on a wishing star, and it goes like completely wrong. And Cameron's still whining, but it goes completely wrong, and her parents end up getting sent to Kansas, and like the world's falling apart, and it's up to Dot and Rexy and Kato. Anyways, we follow Dot, Rexy, and Kato as they're trying to fix Dot's unruly wish, and lots of stuff happens. But this was a really fun series, and I'm glad I read it in like his fancy shoes. But I'm really hoping that she writes more. The epilogue hinted kind of like there could be more in this world, which I want to see. But with like, I want to see like other people with them as side characters. But I'm pretty sure I gave this 4 stars. The next book that I read, I almost said books again. The next book that I read was part of my deck of TBR, and it was Wires and Nerve, Volume 1 by Marissa Meyer, and I think this one with the prompt of 250 pages or less. I'm pretty damn sure. But this is a graphic novel, as you can see. It's got nice, lovely pictures. I actually really liked this like blue tone. This is a graphic novel that follows the after events of the Lunar Chronicles. So after winter. But we follow the android Aiko as she is trying to find the rest of the... Oh my god, Cameron. The Wolf Army. Do they have a name? I don't even know, but she's trying to find the rest of the Wolf Army that are still on Earth and bring them back. I think they're trying to rehabilitate them if they can, but yeah, but I liked it. Aiko's really funny, so it was fun to read from her and see the other characters, but it was really fun. I believe I gave this 4 stars too. I think it was 4 stars. I'm gonna say 4. The next book I read was Bittersweet by Sarah Auckler, and this was for my deck of TBR as well. It was the prompt of like a book with food, and as you can see there is a cookie on the cover, which is kind of deceiving because she doesn't make cookies. She bakes cupcakes. And okay, let me just tell you, each chapter title here has a cupcake on there, and they're like fancy cupcakes. I'm not much of a cupcake person. Every now and then I like want a cupcake, but like whenever we make cupcakes we usually throw them all out because we eat like one. But these cupcakes sound delicious, and there is not a single recipe in this book. Missed opportunity, okay? But this book follows a figure skater, a former figure skater. At the beginning, I believe it starts 3 years prior to like the rest of the book, and she's at a competition, and she's like going places. She could go to the Olympics. Everyone's like watching her, and she finds out this family secret, and just everything like implodes while she's out there skating, and she just like throws the whole competition. She doesn't care about her future. She doesn't care about her team's future. She's just like in this bubble by herself thinking about what she learned. And 3 years later, she's given up skating completely. She just bakes cupcakes at her mom's diner, and she's like pretty famous for them. She was like in the newspaper and everything, but she recently has started like secretly skating. But actually this book takes place like kind of near where I live. It like mentions places like Rochester and Buffalo, and I live like 2 hours away from Buffalo. I'm pretty sure the town that she lives in is made up because I googled it, like Google mapped it, and I could not find it. But it was pretty cool though that this book like takes place in, what you call this? My region, okay? Takes place in my region. So that was pretty cool. But I actually really enjoyed this book. I believe I gave this one 4 stars as well, because there was some boy drama that was like ridiculous and not necessary, and she also had some friend drama with her one friend, and I was just like, why is this in here? No. But otherwise it was really cute, and I really enjoyed it. The next book that I tried to read and hated, okay, was Superman Dawnbreaker by Matt De La Pena. Okay, I read Wonder Woman back there. Loved it. It like gave me like vibes from like the movie where like I could see everything. This book, I really wanted to like this book because I like Clark. Alright. I love the TV show Smallville, okay? She is ruining my whole damn bed. What a brat. I love the TV show Smallville, like so much. I loved Smallville when Clark was in Smallville. Like, when he went off to Metropolis, I was kind of like, which is why the later seasons aren't my favorite. But I loved the farm, I loved the town, everything. So I was really hoping that this would be like that. But this was so freaking boring. I didn't care about anything. Clark was boring. I was like 153 pages in, and he still hadn't found out that he was from another planet, and I was just like they kept like avoiding it. Like, it was like, oh, there's this weird object in the barn under a tarp, under a mound of crap. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna wake up my dad at like 2 in the morning and ask him about it. And then it was like, oh, little, I don't know, like, son, it's a difficult thing. Then it was like, okay, Dad, we don't have to talk about it. Okay, good. We'll talk about it later. I didn't like it. I gave this sucker 1 star. Squeak, squeak, squeak. She's got the tiniest little polar bear in her mouth, squeaking it. Freaking dogs. Love them. Yeah, I gave this 1 star. It was such a disappointment, just like the squeaking. And I'm kind of sad because I own all of these little superhero, was it DC Icons or whatever, books. And like, that's not the page. Which is the page? Which is the page, guys? Okay. I even got the fancy signed editions, you know. I got all these from LitJoy Crate. I've been getting rid of books that don't bring me joy, and like, this one did not bring me joy. Oh, by the way, this was my deck of TBR. It was like, a king? I think it was the king. Anticipated reads. I'm pretty sure. Or maybe this was book sub. Okay, this was a queen for the book sub TBR. That was that. This next book was my deck of TBR king pick, okay? That was the anticipated reads one. And it was Alex, Approximately by Jen Bennett. Everyone always raved about this book. I've had a couple, I almost just hit myself in the head. I have a couple friends that have read this book and talk about it constantly and say how much they love it. And I wanted to read it, but I've never gotten around to it. But I picked it out of the jar, and there she goes. I picked it out of the jar and read it, and this book, like, this book did things to me, okay? I haven't been the greatest reader probably since like last summer. I haven't been the greatest reader. But I read half of this book in one day, and then I read the next half the next day. I probably could have finished this all in one day. I like started reading it. I started reading this book right after this disappointment of a book. I'm just gonna talk over her, gosh. But yeah, when I started this, it just felt so refreshing and good and fun, which was so exciting after that. But I absolutely adored this book. I thought it was so good. I loved the romance. I loved the whole secret identities, you know, because they are online pen pals and kind of like online pen. They're kind of online pen pals. They like met in like a chat group, and her dad actually lives in the town that he lives in, and she decides to go move there with him because there's drama happening with her mom, and she doesn't tell Alex that she's coming because she wants to vet him out. She wants to see if he's a weirdo or if he's legit before she's like, hey, I came to the town not just to see this movie that you wanted me to come see, but I came to live with my dad, so like, hey, you know, we might see each other all the time. And she ends up working at this museum, which I thought the museum was fun. She meets his friend at the museum, which I love their little friendship that they had. And then the security guard at the museum, pain in her ass. But it was good time. This was good time. This was really good times. I love this book. I gave it 5 stars. It was my 5-star read of the month. It's great. The last book that I read this month, I'm gonna just say it right here. I'm gonna finish this book. I haven't finished yet. I am over halfway done with this book. I'm gonna finish it because let me tell you, I'm addicted to this book. But the last book that I read this month is Paper Princess by Erin Watt. I don't know what that little voice exclamation was, but it's there. I'm reading this book. I'm having a good time. It's like so addicting. But this was my deck of TBR pick for, was this an anticipated read? Okay, this was my King card anticipated reads. This one was character name in the title. Okay, character name in the title. My bad. Okay, this was my anticipated reads. I know that Elle Kennedy is part of this Erin Watt duo. I haven't read anything from the other author. I love Elle Kennedy. The Off-Campus series, just so good. And everybody always talked about this book, and so I was like, okay. And this is about a girl whose mom has died. She never knew her father, and she is supporting herself by stripping. Okay, you do what you gotta do in these tough times. And this super rich guy shows up and like wants to take her away and is like, I'm your legal guardian now. And she's like, what the hell is going on? And she ends up going to live with him and his 5 sons. And they're like stupid rich, okay? They have like a giant ass mansion. Everyone knows them. She goes to school and everyone's like mean to her because the brothers, the one specifically, is like, don't talk to her, don't be nice to her, we don't like her, you know. But I don't know, I'm just addicted to this, and like I want to see where it goes. I just can't stop. It's like reality shows. You know, there's that like one reality show you start watching and you just can't stop, even though it's like ridiculous. That's that book. But I'm having a good time, and I would assume this is probably gonna be 4.5, 5 stars, somewhere in there. I will put the thing here when I finished it and let you know. Oh, wait, there's one more. I also read an unexpected audiobook because, was any of these an audiobook? No. None of these were an audiobook. I'm trying this thing where I like listen to one audiobook a month at least. And so I wanted an audiobook because I had to like do laundry and like playing my game, you know. I was like, why not? Let's listen to a book. Multitask. So I ended up listening to That's Not What Happened, This Is Not What Happened, something similar to that by Cody Keplinger, and you know, I keep doing this because that's where it's gonna be. I'm gonna put it there, okay? But I read that, and it is about, it's like the after effects of a school shooting. I think the shooting had happened 2 or 3 years ago. The one girl that didn't make it, her parents are writing a book like about her, and her best friend is just like, what they think happened didn't actually happen. There was this thing that happened, and it got like spread around about a conversation she had with the shooter just before she was killed. It was about a cross necklace, and you know, she believes in God and everything, but her best friend is like, that didn't happen, she never said that, everybody thinks it, and she's let them go on thinking this because she's like, you know, who's it gonna hurt? Well, it hurt the girl that actually said it. She got like chased out of town because she tried to tell people, and they were all like, why would you say that? Why would you try to take this away from her? They're all like, no, there's no way that was your cross necklace. And I don't know, I feel like the guilt about that incident has been eating the main character up all this time, and she just wants to come clean because of this book. And it's about her coming to terms with, you know, like what happened that day, and learning that the other survivors, they had things that happened to them that were perceived different, and she kind of wants to get all their stories out So she asked them all to like write an essay about their feelings on the shooting, and yeah, it just becomes a whole thing. I think I gave it 3.5. I enjoyed, like, I don't want to say the story really, because you know it's like a serious topic. I enjoyed the whole like essay thing about how they wanted to put out what actually happened to them and how they felt about it. But overall, I feel like the story would have been better if it was told from different points of view. That's what I really think. I think if it was told from different points of view, it would have been a better experience reading it. Because I did listen to on audio, as I said, and there were like different voice actors for the characters, but mainly overall it was told from the one character's perspective. I did like some of the other characters more than her, so I feel like if it was told from a different point of view perspective, then it would have been a better read for me. These, plus that audiobook, are all the books I read in January. Like, pat myself on the back, look at me. We're starting off the year strong. We're probably gonna fail eventually, but this is my winning moment right here. But I'm excited to see what next month will bring. I'm really hoping to read like romance. Okay, it doesn't have to be like strictly a romance, but I want books with romance, because you know, Valentine's Day, single gal, gotta get my lovin' from somewhere. Okay, I gotta pretend I'm in these relationships. But yeah, these were all the books I read this month. Let me know if you have read any of these, what you read this month, what your favorite book was this month. I think my favorite probably is gonna be Alex Approximately. Paper Princess is like really fun, but I connected a lot with this book. So yeah. But that's it for me for this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
The next book I almost did again. The next books that. God damn it. Okay. I don't even know where to look. The next books. Motherfucker.